Hey, Sean, we're just doing a slow start. Hey, Jeannie, we're just getting a slow start.
Good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing all right. Looks like a little crowd, little thin tonight.
What was that? Yeah, usually it's about, we start and then people come in, so it's really up to Mike and Jamie if they're going to show up.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Had a lot of commotion going on. I had to silence the background.
Or can you hear me now?
I can now.
All right. Yeah, we usually do like a warm, slow startup, and hopefully the guys will show up and we'll get cooking here.
Yeah, I know there were about 3 or 4 of us that said we were going to be able to be on tonight for sure. So I'm just looking for them to be trickling in. Michael Boston, I think, is supposed to be coming. Michael Alvarez and Jamie, Texas, should be coming on. So
Well, Marlon and I also discussed the fact that it's Memorial Day weekend, and we understand everybody is doing their thing with their families and things like that. So we're taking that into consideration as well.
I get it. I'm at the lake doing this.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Hopefully, it's a big family reunion thing and you're having a blast.
And just camping with the husband and kids and just chilling out.
I still love doing that with my family. I just want to yeah,
No, I'm
we'll put
good.
a
There's another screen. How you doing, Jen?
Doing good, Marlon. Thanks. It looks like Mike just got on. Hey, boss.
Hello.
hey, hey there, Mike.
Hello. Hi, everybody. What's up?
Just doing the warm, slow boil. I'll try to get everybody in here.
It was amazing to me that just in the last few spaces that we've been holding, how many truckers have been reaching out to us in back channel DMs and things like that. So I can tell there's a lot of people that are excited about what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I'm super excited. And we're getting so close, I think, to having that website up. Mike and them have been working on it feverishly, trying to get it up and get the kinks worked out.
Yeah, from what I've experienced, I knew that it was going to be an organic thing when we started MAGAMission, and we did hastily get it up, and then we've been building as we've been going. But what Mike's building is massive, so it has to be done right. Mike.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I got a phone call from the guys, the website developers at on Friday, and they said they were going to work all weekend they got all hands on deck trying to get this thing up and running by tonight or tomorrow. But they activated the website for like 15 minutes last night, and because me and Jake, we were trying to get into it last night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, and we just gave up because we were blocked out because they were working on it. And they told me today that they just made it live for like, no joke, like 15 minutes, and people started paying their membership fees and joining. So yeah, it was crazy.
Woo woo. Good, good to hear that. But just wish I didn't even know where it was except somebody had posted it in the feed. I told Jay he got it taken out so that the website wouldn't be out there for everybody to be flocking to.
Jennifer, I didn't even have the link. I didn't have the link for the website, so I don't know how they found it. The developers called me and asked me, "How the hell did you get in here? Did you give everybody the link? What's going on?" And I said, "You didn't even give it to me, so how would I give it to someone else?"
Well, I just happened to be reading in the feed and I saw him say, I can't wait. This guy said, I can't wait for the website to go live. And then I read the comments and then I saw a picture caption and I went down and clicked on it. And it was the link to our site. I clicked it. I went right to our site and I was like, well, holy rock and roll. How did this guy get it? So I went in our administration channel and Jake got it taken out.
Well, it's all right. It's cool. I was kind of, we were all like, how did they find it? And the guy said, yo, I just did a Google search and I found it. You know what I mean? And it was just funny.
I always say hashtag Google for the win.
Yeah, I don't know, Marlon. I ain't no host, brother. So I don't know what to do here, but I
Oh, you're
think
good.
Jake was
You're good.
supposed to
You're
be
good.
there.
Yeah. Hey, that's exciting stuff, especially when that comes down and you start being able to use it, and then it becomes alive, and then it's a living, breathing machine. That's what it is.
Yo, just to let you know, give you heads up, I sent him a bunch of MAGAMission um, content that he's starting to put on now, but he had to stop everything because somebody found the site and handed out the link. So he had to hurry up and do the regular content, but he was putting up the MAGAMission stuff. I think he got some of it up and then he had to stop.
You know what, Mike? I might have had the link to your site, and I might have put a link to it. If you had anything that was the link, I might have put it up in our data on our site. If you ever had a link to it, I could have sworn you did, and it just said under construction. That might be
Yeah,
what
that's
happened.
cool. They weren't mad. They were just shocked at all the traffic. I think they were just sitting there and they were like, yo, what the hell? What's all this? Like, I don't know how these guys do things on their end. Maybe they just, I don't know. It's like a Walmart sale and the doors opened up and everybody just started rushing in. I don't know. I was asleep, brother. So
It's like Black Friday, Mike.
Yeah, I had somebody message me this morning as well, Blake, and she had mentioned it, and I said, "Wow, I ain't heard nothing about this." Well, I didn't even put in a link. I just put in NOOA, and it popped up, and I went to it, and it was open. That was what 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. And I was like, what's going on? So yeah, I just put in NOOA on a Google search, and it took me to the NOAA page, and it popped right up, and I can see all the content and everything.
Well, as a web designer myself, like when I'm doing publishing or something like that, it'll make it to where people can't get in. And then oftentimes I'll post something, I'll be looking at it to see what it is when it's live. And then I might go back into the editor right away and go, no, I don't like that. I got to fix that. So I could be doing stuff in the middle of the night and people trying to sign up and they have problems, you know what I mean, while I'm doing maintenance.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I don't think he was expecting that these people were like uploading content and pictures and stuff, and I guess proofreading things and stuff like that. And I know he was working. I think what happened was he was working on the payment portal, and the guys went in and started paying, and I think he got freaked out when that happened. Like he was like, "Yo, what the hell?" So anyway, it's all cool. It's all good. The website, it's just not. We really didn't want people to see it until it was totally finished. But it is what it is. There's some stuff that's completed, and there's some stuff that's still under construction. So it's cool. They just sent me the load board. So that's done. I just saw the actual load board, so that's done. The add-on to the load board isn't going to be done until probably Wednesday. That the add-on is a major part of it, but the actual feature is completed. They just have to integrate it into the website. So we should be fully up and running probably by Wednesday or Thursday.
Congratulations, bud. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
It'll take on a life of its own, Mike.
Well, we'll be doing everything we can to direct traffic to you guys, and even your embedded tweets and things like that, your information. And if you want to do videos, we'll be linking stuff to that. We started a Spaces Live library of our sessions. So now we're going to start building that so people can actually go and refer to past spaces and listen to the topics we're talking about. So it's a keeping the record so it's not lost, because Twitter will eventually erase these recordings.
I really appreciate that. And on the first page, I believe at the bottom, there is a permanent message that we're on Twitter with you guys Tuesdays and Sundays, and also with Brett on Thursday. I had them put that in there permanently, and there is another page devoted entirely to MAGAMission. So they just they're getting it done. It'll be there.
Well, I kind of figured out what was going on with my account. It was a little bit, I was having problems with scheduling stuff and even commenting or retweeting. So we've been dealing with that, and Marlon's been helping me out with kind of filling in wherever I'm censored, where I can't retweet or comment or share something. He jumps on it and shares it for me now. But I think it'll be lifted. I don't know what it was put on me for, but it's really odd. I can't do the same things I used to do. And I have a blue check. I should have the right to do some of these things.
Say right now, MAGA, down at the blue pill, there's no blue pill. It's a plus and a feather. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That was my next thing. Is I can't tweet or retweet. I mean, I can retweet or like something, but I can't comment and tweet on it. And I can't make any of my scheduled spaces like special, adding hashtags or anything like that. All I can do is just release it as a generic message, and that's it. And even one of the spaces that Marlon helped me get out, when I went to start it, it wouldn't let me start the space. So I had to start a brand new space and start fresh. So that's what's going on with me. I've been censored to the nines, bro.
That's crazy. Wow, incredible. I've had that issue with Facebook. That's why I'm kind of grateful that, we got connected with you guys. I got a phone call from a member, that's been a loyal member for a long time. And he was like, yo, Mike, what's up with this MAGAMission thing? Are we like Trump guys now? And I'm like, look, no, like, I mean, we're these guys are cool. They've agreed to host us and help us get our message out there. And, we want to work with them. Like, it's just, we can't use Facebook anymore. Every time we try to do a live or post something, we get flagged. They're going to shut us down. So we have to get off Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are cool and Twitter's cool. Like, just come on,
I've been approached with the same thing, and I told them, look, this is just an America First platform, not necessarily a Trump platform. I'm not saying they don't support Trump, but MAGA has moved well beyond Trump or the Democrats or the Republicans. I mean, it's America First, and that's what I tell them. So,
And we're going to make another godly alliance.
look, I'm gonna support anybody who supports truckers. I don't care what their name is. That's my mandate. I don't pick and choose who supports truckers. If anyone is going to speak out and defend us and support fair wages and fair treatment for anybody who drives a truck, I'm supporting them. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all I could say. Michael, I see Michael is in here. Michael, you feel better, man? I know you were sick as a dog, brother. He's a listener. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent him a mic.
Anyway, Jake's not here, so I guess I can spill some news of some stuff that we're talking about because he's not here and he told me I better not say anything, so I'm gonna say it. We're working on some big thing. Was that him? No, okay. So we're working on some stuff, some political stuff. I normally don't want to get involved with stuff like that, but he kind of twisted my arm, and we came in. We kind of got, in the middle of a situation in one of these states, which is actually beneficial for what we're trying to accomplish. And the state has been very nice and generous to us, and similar to you guys, they've been hosting us and trying to make us as comfortable as possible. And they've been just incredible. And I'm not going to steal Jake's thunder, but we're working on a very big piece of legislation that we're going to introduce through this state. And it's going. He just sent me a text message. Who is? I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to make like I didn't get it. And it's going to be it's groundbreaking. I'm just going to put it there. And I think everyone's going to be impressed with it.
I'm already impressed, Mike. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Listen.
you're just getting started. You just get warmed up, and already you guys have blown up. So it's just going to get more and more. It's going to be incredible when it finally gets rolling. It'll blow your mind.
I appreciate that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to speak for Jake or any of the other guys that are running this association. I can only speak for myself. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm winging this, and I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. But if an opportunity comes up that I think is going to make sense for anyone driving a truck, I try my best to jump on it and with this situation, Jake pretty much put it all together himself. I just kind of, is he here? Is Jake here? I just kind of filled in the blanks, and he basically he went to the state. He sat down with these people. He had meetings with them, shook hands, and he made the deal. And the guy just turned into a politician overnight. And I mean, I'm so proud of Jake, and he's definitely an important part of this. And he's I can't say enough about what he did and what he's doing.
Mike, when you get involved with people and they follow through, and you've been in business for yourself for a while, most people let you down, and when you got people around you actually performing, it's really nice, isn't it?
Brother, you hit it right on the head. You know what I mean? It's like I learned that starting companies is very easy in this country. Keeping them open is the hard part, and the people that come into an organization are the company, and they're the foundation. And when these people put in hard days work, that's what makes the company. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful that everybody, Jamie, Dan, Jennifer, John, Michael, there's three Michaels, so Michael threes, Raphael, all these guys, if I left any, Joseph, all of these people have been burning the midnight oil, doing whatever they can to make this thing come to fruition. And that they're the association, you know what I mean? Not me. They're the association. These guys that behind the scenes have been Caitlin, these people, they've gone above and beyond, and I think the sky's the limit with this association. I mean, Jake drove all night to get to this state, he drove his truck all night to get to this state, and he made it there like right before the doors opened with these people, and walked in and hashed out this mega deal. And he's getting it done, man. All of them. Is Jake here? No. Good.
Yeah, I just text Jake, Mike. He says he's gonna be a little bit. He's dropping his son off, and Caitlin said she's just got back from a trip and she's super tired, so she might not make it in. Just for your information.
Well, don't worry, Mike. Your secret's safe with us, Jeannie.
Yeah, don't let Mike, take himself out of that. We are the association that includes Mike. Mike has been a great leader for all of us, and he's helped us, analyze different questions we've had, and come to the right agreements between us. And he's been burning the midnight oil just as much as we have been. So, we, including him, are the organization, not we excluding him.
I'm telling you, man, bro. It's been a job for us directing traffic just on the Facebook, man. I mean, it's gotten crazy over there, man. I mean, it's nonstop dealing with stuff, man.
Michael's up here.
That Jamie, that Facebook group is like it's like a mosh pit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't even want to log into it, man. It's like a 24/7 like mosh pit, man, and it's tough, man. You got so many troublemakers in there that just looking to start fights with everybody, man. And people, it's sad because I started that group for people that were new, like that, just like people that like just bought a truck, you know what I mean? And they're trying to figure it out, you know, and these people are still in there and they're like trying to wave their hand and get a question in, like, how do I get tires, or anybody know where I can get an inspection sticker? You know, they just want to ask like a simple question and they can't because some loudmouth is, you know, cursing me out for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And it's sad because, you know, that's the group is like, I need help, you know, I need more moderators, and I'm glad you stepped up and started policing it, man. And, you know, I really appreciate all the moderators. You know, Michael's got his hand up, man. I guess he could talk about that because Michael, he was like one of the first moderators, and he knows he's the moderator for the WhatsApp group too. And it's rough, man. People come in these groups and they have no, you know, they have no stop sign. Like they just go all out, you know what I mean? And they let you have it, man. I know.
Yeah, no doubt. Michael.
I was just going to say, Mike's not giving himself the credit that he deserves. I mean, he was the guy that put everything together. He's the one that started the association. He's the one that put the money out on the table to start the load board. You know, yeah, we as the moderators and the you know, people that are helping put it together, we stepped in and started assisting him. But had it not been for Mr. Boston, this never would have happened. And you know, the powers that be behind the scenes, you know, it's a joint effort, but it's going to change the industry indefinitely. I mean, there's no going back now, and that's why I constantly am getting messages from all these brokers saying, you know, how many people do you want to go out of business? You know, what is your end all goal? You know, and it's not making people go out of business, but for so many years, they've just ran us under the bus, and we're just, you know, like second class people. You know, we don't amount to nothing. We're not as good as them. And in the end, you know, we've told them since day one, without us they're nothing, without them we will prosper. And it's just it's really sad it came to this point. But yeah, the Facebook Facebook group has grown to sizes that are pretty unrecognizable. We went from 16,000 when I started, you know, helping Mike with that. I was a part of it, but I really didn't, you know, because back then it was just, you know, questions for people that were new. And you know, I was invited by my dispatcher at the time in Bosnia to come in and, you know, check it out. And you know, it just progressively grew to where we're at now. I do believe we're 36,000. I've seen 35, but I think somebody told me it was 36 now. And as far as the what's up, that's just, I mean, that's a knockdown, drag out ring. I mean, just basically, you got a problem in Facebook, I'll direct you to what's up so you guys can just go hash it out, because there's no real people telling them, you know, what they can and can't do, other than, you know, there's no advertisement. We just, you know, if you're going to advertise, you need to go through the NOA and you need to do it right. We're not saying you can't do it. We're saying you can't do it on your own to try to harass people and just, you know, cause general mayhem. And again, like I said, I just wanted to tell Mike, you know, he needs to give himself the credit that he deserves. That was our leader. That was the man that started everything. And yeah, there's some help behind the scenes, but it was him that put everything in motion. It was him that put me back in line when I had just lost my absolute mind and went after a couple of people. And he just went, you know, back up a little bit. This is what we're doing. And yeah, I had a couple other ideas that in the beginning, and we talked about it, and he explained why it wouldn't work. And you know, it was Mike that kept everything in line to where we're at now. And it's Mike financially that's backed everything. So, again, he needs to stop pushing everybody to the front of the line and going to the back and just hiding in the shadows, because we all know, everybody that was here knows what actually happened. So, you know, we wouldn't be where we're at. That's all there is to it. And I'm kind of rambling now, but yeah, I'm feeling much better, Mike, other than I can't move my neck. I pulled out of my driveway the other day, went to turn left, and my neck wouldn't move. So I had to turn my whole body to look down the street, and I have to do the same in the truck now. So it's interesting, but I appreciate you caring and all. But yeah, like I said, take the credit that you deserve, man. You really do deserve it. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you're up working, and 5 o'clock in the morning, you get a phone call from somebody that's got a question after you just went to bed, at 3:45. So take the credit you deserve, man.
Amen. Amen.
I got a special phone just for Michael. He's the only one who has this phone number. I have a little garbage phone that I keep, and I take it with me everywhere, and it's just for Michael. He's the only one who calls me on it. The only one. I'm watching this guy. I don't know if anybody else watches this guy Biden. I swear, I look at him sometimes, and I don't know how old anyone here is, but if you remember Ronald Reagan, like in his second term, he didn't look as bad as him. I'm really, really like, does he even know where he is?
Well, the way he walks in circles on the podium most of the time the wrong way and falls down the stairs, I doubt that highly.
I've thought that many times myself, Mike.
He's got like that old man blank look face. You know what I mean? Like he's looking in your eyes, but he's not really all there. I'm not trying to be funny. He's old, man.
Oh, it's funny.
I think he's got dementia, brother. I think he's got dementia.
I mean, that's not funny, but you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. In any case, yeah, so, things are moving along and, everything is looking good. It looks like we're going to be definitely fully live with the website and operational next week. So everything is moving forward. I know there's a lot of people here. Well, not a lot, but a few people here that are department heads. I see Jamie, Jennifer. Jennifer, there was a person who contacted me late last night about a carrier 411. I sent that to you. I don't know if you got it, but I sent it over to you at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I know John was up. I sent one. He had another one I sent to him. I see Michael's here. Yeah, I wanted Raphael to come. I don't know if he's here. If anyone could, I know it's a holiday, I think. If anyone could, tap him on the shoulder, that'd be great. I think that's it. Yeah.
Well, Michael, it's sad right now that we're this close to being up, and all the department heads are taking stuff, and this shows you the state that the transportation industry is in. That right now, as far as business and working, Jennifer and John are the two busiest out of all of us as far as actually doing association. That's sad that it's that bad right now with all the scams and double brokering and fraud out there, man. It's terrible. It's got to be got under control.
Jamie, funny, me and Sammy got caught up in a double broker one like 2 weeks ago, man. It was like just hysterical. I was like, just like, you got to be joking me, man. I'm on the phone with these guys. I'm like, you guys got to be joking me. Are you serious? And Sammy just like said, Mike, just go do what you got to do. I'll handle this, and I left it alone, but he basically took care of it. And yeah, man, it's rough out there. The scammers are out. You know what's crazy? They're taking entire loads. Like they're trying to take entire loads. So I don't know if anybody knows what's actually going on right now, but they're actually trying to get entire loads, man. And whoever gets caught up in something like that, that is potentially, like, I believe, a lot of trouble. So just be careful.
Michael, I don't understand why the government hasn't stepped in, because that's a federal offense. You know what I mean? So, where are they at? What are they doing to stop this, man?
Nothing.
You know, I see Jennifer's hands up, and this is her playground. But I totally agree with you, and I really don't want anything to do with any of these types of loads. I've been really careful lately. I booked this load in a hurry. I wasn't paying attention. It was stupid of me. I'm being very careful moving forward. Go ahead, Jennifer. Sorry.
Actually, Mike, that's actually how everybody, well, not everybody, many people get into those situations. Is they're in a hurry, they're moving too quick, they go ahead and book it. Oh, it's just one time. It'll be fine this time, and then bam, that's the one that bites them in the ass. I don't have anything from you, either an email or text message from last night, early this morning. So if you'll resend that, and text us, if you can send Raphael the link, he said he can get on, or send it to me in text message so I can send it over to him.
Jamie, I hate to lay
Hey,
more.
Jennifer, I shared it in the group
Okay.
message on a admin page on Facebook. All
All
he's got to do is click there, and it'll bring him right here.
I'll let him
Yeah,
know.
Jamie, if you got that lady's phone number and information, if you could send it to Jennifer, the one from last night that had the carrier 411 issue. I don't know if you have that. If you could send it to her, I'd appreciate it.
I'll look for it and
Thanks.
see if I can find it.
Well, some of the things that were said earlier kind of remind me of stuff with us. You know how, Mike started Noah and what he's been doing, and it's not able to do what he intended it to do without the help of people, and the people that have stepped up and helped MAGAMission and are part of the team. It wouldn't be anything without them. So, and the people that have stepped up and given us their support, that all makes it worth it. It's not easy, but we're doing it. And I see movement, and that's warming my heart. So that's exactly what we want to be doing.
You know, there's a guy here. I can't see his full name, but it looks like his name is Chris Ben something. I believe he has been going in. He's in our group, but he's been going to other groups. If this is the same person, and he's been informing people about what we're doing, and how we're doing it, and it's because there's a lot of people like him that are going out and getting the word out as well. And they're just members of the Facebook group waiting for the website to go live. And, for months, we've been depending on people like him to help us get that information out there. And he contacted me yesterday and sent me a post that he put up in another group. And I was like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, it's when people do these things. I had another lady that contacted me off of Twitter. I don't know any of these people on Twitter. The people in the Facebook group, believe it or not, all 36,000, I know every single one of them. But especially if they posted more than like twice, I know exactly who they are. But Twitter, I have no idea the people that contact me. Even a few of the people on Twitter contact me. And one lady contacted me yesterday and was like, listen, I'm surrounded by truck stops. If you have any literature that you could send me, I can definitely go to all these truck stops and hand it out. And, it's these people that are the real, ones that are getting this information out there on the ground. You know what I mean? And we really, I never had a chance to say thank you. But I'm saying it now, and thank you, because that means a lot. You know what I mean? That really does, and I really do truly appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you, Chris. I would thank everybody, but just you're here, so thank you.
Everybody, that's Chris Bennick. Big Chris, hello. He is, I've talked to him several times, and he's a smart guy. He's out of Idaho. I think he's parked right now because rates are so crappy out there, in, out, sideways. He can't really get anything going anywhere, so he's just biding his time, waiting for his load board to get up, and hoping that we can help him out a lot there. But yeah, he's a smart guy. He's an owner operator, and he's supporting us in every way. He comes to about every space that I've seen us have up, and he's always in our Facebook channel helping to answer people's questions. So, Chris, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he contacted me yesterday, like out of the blue. I see him all the time in the group, and he's always giving helpful input, and I could tell he's very knowledgeable. So I don't get involved with his posts or anything like that. I just let him do his thing. There's a few of them like him. Well, there's a lot of them like him in the group. I had. On the flip side of that, I've got people like this McKelvey, who seems to just hate my guts for one reason or another. But I spend hours fighting with him in the group, and it's annoying. It takes up a lot of time. Like my hands have turned into claws because I'm so grateful for Twitter, because it's so hard for me to type now. I've developed these just pains in my fingers, and I try to tell everybody, man, if you want to talk or you got something to say to me, or you got something you need to get off your chest, just come to Twitter, man. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's a public forum. If you don't like me, or you don't like something I'm doing, or you got an issue or a question, just ask me here, man. It's so much better for my health. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and type stupidity for hours and hours and hours, So yeah, man, it's, Chris is a breath of fresh air. And there's a lot of them like that in the group, they're just members of the community, and that was the intent of the group in the first place, to create a community of owner operators and carriers that are supporting each other. And, with this boycott, it got a little twisted. It became a little bit like, it's still what we originally had in mind for it, but we've got these we've got the Proud Boys came in, kind of, you know what I mean?
Marlon, go ahead.
Sound a little familiar?
Yeah, a lot of the things that were said today are familiar.
But there are people, even in our community, Mike, that are doing the same things. I don't know how they can screw the message up, but yeah, there's people that hate our guts. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but
It's like,
there's an overwhelming public movement, though, that we also see and we feel, and we thank those people for their help, because without them, the movement just doesn't go anywhere. So I'm very thankful for the positive people out there.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to degrade that at all.
it's like, at the end, in the beginning of the day and the end of the day, it's peaceful. Like, I don't want anyone going at anyone else's throat. It's serious, but it's not that serious. You know what I mean? Like, it has to stay peaceful. You know what I mean? And I said that in the beginning of this, and I continuously say it. No one should ever threaten or get belligerent or try to hurt or anything like that. It has to stay peaceful. Debate is healthy, And that's how we, settle things in a normal society. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to agree on anything. But none of this is that serious. You know what I mean? It has to stay peaceful. And that's just been my take on this from day one.
Well, we brought Chris up to join us. I think Chris might want to jump in. Chris, welcome.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for all the good comments and the appreciation and everything. I appreciate you guys just as well. I am driving, so might be losing connection here in a little bit. Who knows? But I just want to thank everybody. Thanks.
Well,
Yeah, I can't give Chris a 100. I don't know what the deal is with that. Can someone tell me why sometimes I can't give people like a 100 or a smiley face or something like that?
Try backing all the way out your left arrow. Try going all the way home out of DMs and stuff, and then come back. Sometimes it frees up that function. Like if I got a lot of DMs I'm doing and I don't go all the way back to home, I can't use my emojis or anything.
I still don't understand why everybody doesn't have the emojis.
Well, not everybody has the same features, like an iPhone versus an Android, etc.
Yeah, so Mike, I can't hit Chris with 100% either.
Yeah, I can't hit a few people, but I know they know I love them. Jamie and I were talking earlier. I don't know if Jamie wants to grab the floor, but before you do that, Jamie, I'm going to let you know that I've been getting a lot of questions specifically relating to the carrier division. So I wanted to know what your take is on that, because I've been kind of overwhelmed with other aspects of this, and I haven't been able to answer many questions for the carrier division. Yeah.
Well, here's my deal, Mike. I inquired about internet today, man. I got to get internet set up at home because my service here ain't so well. I've been working, man. Every day I've been driving, so I haven't been able to get much together yet. We need to all sit down and figure out which direction we need to go with it, and where we're going and when we're going to start. So I got a clue of when I need to actually come out of this truck. Obviously, I can't just drop it because I got bills to pay. I wish I could. Before I went to work for the other company, I probably could have, because I had money saved and everything. But that predatory lease purchase over there at Christian about broke me. But yeah, I mean, send them my way, man, and I'll talk to them. We'll see what's going on, man. I need to start focusing more on it, but it's hard when I'm covering my truck, driving my truck, dealing with all that. So, I mean, I got to get in gear on it. Yes, I do, and I know that's what that was. That was a spur in my side. But yeah, so.
I got you, brother. We working on that. I got you. Oh, I do have an announcement to make since Jake is not here. We signed a kind of a nationwide deal. It's going to cost a little bit more with shipping, but I think Mike will be interested in this. We signed a deal with a major tire distributor, and we've got a deep discount on brand new tires. Name brand tires, all types of tires, but we've got a deep discount on them. If you're in anywhere in any northeastern states, the shipping is free. New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Maine, any of that shit. The shipping is free. Delaware, Virginia. Did I leave any states out? I don't fucking know. You know, any of those, no, any of those states, it's free shipping. If you live anywhere else in the United States, there is a shipping cost for shipping, but the tires are cheap. Yeah, I want to get that out there. That's actually going to be on the website. Also, I sent that information over to the developers, and they're putting that up as well. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you about that and tell you I got my tires, but yeah, I just drove up to Evanston because Flying J doesn't have a actual shop. They say they do, but they don't have actual shops. And the way that they've done it now, there's nothing in my area, so I had to drive up to Evanston out of Utah to go get me some tires. But yeah, that's actually what I'm doing right now. And I was going to ask you about that, but I wasn't going to do it here. But anyway, sounds great. Yeah, I just spent $4,000 on 8 tires, so hopefully we got a better discount than I'm getting through RTS.
What'd you get, Mike? What tires?
I got the Firestone FD609 drive tires.
Well, yeah, that's what Jake got. We got them for, I think, 40% off.
Jake is in the house, y'all.
Shit, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you let that one out of the bag, Mike.
I didn't hear nothing. Jake, tell us about the tires.
I wasn't on here for the last couple of minutes. I had a phone call. I'm
Give
not
the
sure
man a
what
mic. 10 points. Needs a mic.
Hello. I wasn't on here for the last 5 minutes. I had a phone call.
That's all right. I don't know if everybody can hear everybody at the moment, so let's try something here. And let's do a mic check, see if 10 Point can hear me. 10 Point, you got me? All right, we'll rotate him and we'll fix that.
Yeah, Jake, we're going to drop you back down and bring you back up, all right?
Well, what I was going to say to Mike is that's the power of a strong membership. Then you actually can approach something like that and get your members a better deal on tires, you know, or insurance and things like these things, you know, because you have a membership base that actually brings something to the table. There's actually something there for them to want, that customer base.
Yeah, man. You know, brother, we designed this from the start that was going to be the case. So when Jake and I sat down, we said, let's stay out of the political side of this. You know, let's focus on business. And we quickly realized when we were, you know, the good thing about the Facebook group is it's like an incubator. When we get ideas, we kind of throw them out there and we see how people feel about them. And if people start putting up, you know, middle fingers and stuff like that and screaming, we know that's probably a bad idea, right? But so everything that we do before we actually sign the deal or make an agreement with someone, we kind of feel the group out and see how they feel about it. And we got a feeling from the beginning that focusing on business is the best way to do this and to grow this and would benefit everyone in the best way. So that's the reason why we're doing things like tires and, you know, consulting and insurance and, you know, all that stuff, health insurance, you know, because when we ask people in the group, what do they want? You know, these are the things that they say. So everything that we're doing it because these are the things that people have asked for. There's nothing that we're doing that is of our own, okay, I want to do this. Like, yeah, no, I always wanted to have this. No, it's what the people in the group have requested. And that's what is on the site. I see Raphael down there now. Thank you.
Mike, I got a quick question to ask. I mean, a lot of your signups, Mike, do you see them in regional areas or do you see them like all over the country? Like how's the Northeast compared to the Midwest, to the Texas,
That's a very good question. It's funny. Most of I ain't going to say most, because the answer to that question easily is it's all over the United States, but the concentration is pretty much like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, a lot of New Jersey. This is where most of it is. I would say the second largest concentration would be like the southeast, eastern states like Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and then you would have pretty much everywhere else. The funny thing is, and I'm going to say this here, I don't know if it's going to be bad or good, but it's weird. The most of the good loads right now are in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, that's where we're seeing the best paying freight for us anyway. It's unusual, but it's the Pacific Northwest and other parts of the Southern California area, which I think I'll let Raphael handle those questions because, that's just the case right now. But answer your question, those states like, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, these areas, that's where most of the signups are.
So obviously these guys are able to track those IPOs and track that data for you, Mike. We need to talk about that. So for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the individual states, that would be good to know.
Oh yeah, brother, we have I have all that information. I mean, we're a broker, so when these people sign up to the broker to carry loads for the association, we have all of their information because they go through RMIS. So we have all of their information. We know exactly where they are.
That's good. So just because of legislation in different states, that could be a powerful weapon.
Right,
Mike. I did hand a
tool, not
sorry
weapon.
about.
Right.
I was just going to say I handed Raphael a mic, but I don't know if he's going to grab it. Sorry, Mike, for interrupting.
Nah, man, I'm sorry. But I was going to say was, we need to know where people are and what kind of equipment they have and what the concentration is, because when we approach shippers and brokers that have loads, that's their question. Like, how many trucks can you supply us with? How much of this can you handle? And right now, we have a glut of good people looking for loads. So the response has been positive all across the board.
Okay, Jane.
Yeah, there's another thing you got to look at that when you're to make money and to be successful out here and to do it the right way. When you come out running OTR or regional, you got to look at a triangle or a rectangle. In other words, you're not, anytime you're in trucking and you're a carrier, you're not looking for one load. You're looking for, okay, well, I've got this load and this shipper here, so I've got to try to land there where I've got that shipper and over there where I got that shipper, because you try to run triangles or squares. Very few trucking companies are successful running in and out, straight one shot. Like me, I'll run from McAllen, Laredo area up to Oklahoma, Arkansas area, and then I'll Sometimes I'll run straight back if I can, but then I'll jump over to Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and then and try to go back. That's important. So when you build, you get one shipper in an area. You got to start looking at different shippers in different areas where that's in a good area, that is, because I mean there's places out here in the country that there's no freight. I don't care what you're running, man. Um, like the Pacific Northwest, I run out of there a lot. We run apples out of there when it heats up. Right now, Arizona is coming into play. Texas has been in play. You got Southern Georgia, and this is on reefer freight because that's all I'm really paying attention to right now because of course that's what I'm running. But it's a plan. So when you get one, you score one, you got to go out and look for that next one, and that next one to link the chain, and that's important to know.
Well, you guys are the experts. But bringing the data to the table, Mike, that's what's going to be the tool.
Yeah, I agree. And, once again, I think Raphael could speak to this better than me. But, what Jamie's saying is absolutely correct. If you're an owner operator, you need to be able to get yourself back home. And you need to be able to either I try to triangulate it. But, that when you're running, we have thousands and thousands of trucks in our database, right? So we need volume, right? So that's where the volume is. Now, when you're talking about reefer freight, that's reefer freight. We're dealing with guys out here that have flatbeds and things like that. We got hot shots. We have to be very versatile when we approach these shippers. And I'm going to leave that one alone, and I'm going to let Raphael field that one.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting used to the Twitter space. So could you ask the question again so I could better understand it?
So I think what his question was you're
Mhm.
gathering the data on regional loads, and speaking of guys and the glutton for you have so many drivers trying to fill all the gaps, and coming with the data to be able to prove where they're at and all that stuff. So that's pretty much what the question was.
Oh yeah, just to speak to that, then, that's exactly what the goal is to find out what's needed for our carriers, for our guys on the trucking side, and just developing dedicated routes. For example, with my own trucks, I have trucks in the Pacific Northwest, and I have them on dedicated routes. So we want to kind of minimize deadhead. That's the goal in order for us to be profitable. Profitable, as you guys know, trucking is so, with fuel and everything else. And then I have trucks down here in Southern California where diesel's nearly $5 a gallon. So just, minimizing downtime, like Mike referenced, volume, making sure we have dedicated regular routes. That way, we're not searching just on load boards, and load boards are really it's to develop those relationships, maybe find out who's what routes are available, but ultimately our goal is to get those dedicated routes. That way, we don't always have to be searching load boards or searching for the next shipment, where it's a regular, hey, this is your weekly run or whatever that might look like. And so, yeah, we're definitely looking at those data points where we have the most carriers, where we have the most needs, and then start pinpointing and targeting, niching down in those specific areas, so we could be most effective for the carriers and for the team. I hope that answers your question. Did that make sense? Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, I heard you, Raphael. I think they're
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where when you start something like this, the only thing you're thinking about is dry van. Maybe you might be, oh yeah, reefer freight, but then you start getting all of the signups. There's people out there that have box trucks. There's people out there that are hot shotting. There's all types of people out there. You know what I mean? You got drayage, which we just inked a massive deal. I think Raphael could talk about that. I'm going to shut up right now on that one. We just inked something great with drayage. Maybe Raphael can just give a little bit of information on that.
Yeah, sure. So we have some regular drayage loads coming in, and again, just keep in mind, like right now, the market it's not as favorable as it was. For example, we have some drayage down here in Southern California where I'm at. We're gonna have a good amount of loads available every day, like possibly over 100 loads per week on just this one run. And that same run though, like a year ago, not even a year, yeah, about a year ago, year and a half ago, was paying, $750, $800. Now it doesn't pay as well. But like Mike was saying, volume right now, we just want steady, reliable income that we could, run a company on. That we can run a company on. We don't have to be searching for. So that's one. We also just recently put in some bids on some other areas like Chicago, Illinois, drayage work over there, down south in Savannah, Georgia, some stuff in Florida. So we put a few other bids on some other areas. We're hoping to have some success in these other areas as well. We already have some stuff coming up that's going to be coming out of Savannah, Georgia, but we're hoping to get more amount of that. And what else? And then the Pacific Northwest as well. We're hoping to develop some flatbed relationships out of there. And just in general, just so you guys know too, we really are trying to build long-term relationships with shippers. We're not just trying to get one and
Shit, Raphael, I'm sorry, buddy. That was me. I understand. Sorry about that, buddy.
I'm sorry. Did you guys hear me or was I on mute this whole time?
Oh, yeah. Right when you got muted, I'm sorry. I hit the button by accident.
Okay. So no problem. But you guys did hear me about the loads we have in Los Angeles. We're bidding on some other ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, we heard all of that.
Okay, great. Yeah. So we don't want to just be one and done. We want to build long-term relationships with shippers. That's the goal here, to build long-term relationships with shippers and make it mutually beneficial for all parties involved. So yeah, we got some stuff that we're bidding on. We got a lot of drayage work coming up pretty soon, right here, especially down south by where I'm at in Southern California, from Long Beach to the Ontario area, Fontana, for those who are familiar with the area down here. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're bidding on a lot of drayage stuff, and that's all local. That's a lot of local stuff, and we're building those relationships. We got some stuff out of the Pacific Northwest, a lot of flatbed lumber that we're gonna probably be moving, some hay, some nursery stuff. So that's where we're at. But we're looking for long-term relationships, so it's not like a one and done type thing. So in building long-term relationships, for those who know it, it does take time. It does take time. In fact, I've been speaking to a person out of the Northwest, also in the Northern California. During the summertime, she's going to be having bottles of water, tons and tons and tons of bottles of water coming out of the Northern California. So she said that's probably going to start in August. So we're just building these relationships, and we're looking for long-term stuff, not just one and done.
Well, you have to prove yourself too, Raphael, right? You have to, you're building relationships. You have to, make your mark with that shipper, correct?
Exactly. Because, we can't just say, hey, we can cover all this and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, I got a load for you on Monday. Can you make it happen? And we're like, oh, well, not ready yet, So yeah, you definitely got to prove yourself. So sometimes it's starts off slow. Hey, here's a load, here's a load to check can you take care of this one load? Can you take care of these few loads next week or whatever? And just proving ourselves, then we can be like, okay, here's our list. Here's our daily list. Make it happen. So yeah, it does take time. We got to prove ourselves as well.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, Raphael, this is for you. I've talked to Mike about this before, but okay, our association, our members are professional truck drivers. Okay, they've been in this a while. Most of them, some of them a lifetime. Business owners that know in their areas their shippers who they are, and the ones that are good and the ones that are bad. So, like me, I'm down here in Northeast Texas. So if I got a shipper that I know is a good shipper, pays well, or about the business and where they lay out loads, that's important in transportation. Is the management of the load and how it's laid out. Uh, I'm saying that hey, I can send you that information, and then you can go after that contract too, because you already got trucks in that area willing to run that lane and them loads. How do you feel about that?
Man, I feel good about that actually. If that's the case, and you do have already, a few other people actually approached me about that as well. People that shippers that they've worked with before in the past or whatever. If we have already, basically, it'll just make it a lot easier for us to try to develop that relationship, reach out. It's going to just expedite the process. So if you want to get together later on and we can kind of figure that out, definitely open to it. That would just make it expedite the process and hopefully make it a lot easier.
Yeah, because I've got hundreds of rate confirmations and bills of lading with the information needed to be able to go after these contracts. I've already got the information. It's not something you're going to have to run down online or anything. And I know the ones that was good, the ones that are good, because I run them regularly. Once I'm like you, once I get in with a brokerage or a person, I build that relationship, and then when I get in the area, a lot of times I don't even get in the load board. I get on the phone and I call my guy, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm down here," or I call him on my way down there. I say, "I'm coming down there. I'm gonna need a load." He said, "All right, I got you. Let me find you something." So I think that would be a big help as far as growing the brokerage side of the association and getting your feet off the ground and getting you good lanes where that you're not dealing with a bad shipper that's going to hold you 8 or 10, 12 hours every time you go in there, or that's going to drop the ball. So that's just, to me, that makes sense.
It does. No, it makes perfect sense. So yeah, I think we should definitely get together. If you're available tomorrow, we could definitely jump on a call and kind of go through that. I seen Mac had his hand up. Did I miss something?
Yeah, no, Raphael, I was just worried about those projects you were talking. I was just kind of curious. Is that a state funded thing or a county or what?
No, that's just general shippers. No, yeah, nothing specific like that.
All right, thank you. I was just curious.
No problem. Is that Mike? I think Mike has his hand raised.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to something Jamie said, and that's definitely something we're looking to do because we have a need for freight like immediately, and we just don't have enough right now for the amount of people that want it. You know what I mean? Now we do have options, and those options are going to be available on the website for members, and they're excellent options. In many cases, they're better options than a load board, and I think Raphael will agree with that. I don't want to mention it now, but yes, I'd like to talk about what we're doing for the long term success of the association as far as the broker is concerned, Jamie. We've actually developed a broker training course. It's a very detailed course. It's complete with all of the information that you need to learn how to be a successful freight broker. At the end of the course, we are supplying people with employment. They can come and work for the association. And basically, I'm going to hand the football off to Raphael so he could speak a little bit more about the broker training course that we developed that's going to be offered through NOAA for anyone that's looking to, branch out and maybe try to become a freight broker. You want to take that, Raphael?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we put a lot of work into it. yeah, put a lot of work into this course, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of humility. A lot of humility. What I mean by that is just taking in information from others, not ever feeling like, this is the one way to get to, to skin a cat. This is the one way to make it happen. So we definitely put in a lot of work. Talk to other people who have been very successful in this space on the brokering side. So I feel really good about it. We're bringing a lot of insight, a lot of information, and the goal here is to, again, put people in a position to help the association, help themselves develop additional opportunities to start working, start making an income for themselves, their family. I know a lot of people got into the brokering side, like in my previous experiences, through family members who were truckers and drivers and stuff like that. That's actually how I got started. And so we definitely want to make this available. And this has been a pretty big project. And, like Mike said, we put a lot of work and effort into it. And so we're excited to be offering that really, really soon. Should be kicking that off in the next week or so. I see a hand raised by Jenny.
Hey, Raphael, I was just going to mention to Mike that, in my line of work, I do a lot with the brokers and with the carriers. And I brought a broker prospect over to Raphael. He's talked to him. I think that he said that's a good matchup. I've had several conversations with brokers in the last few weeks about building those relationships and doing things the right way. And these are brokers that are wanting to do things right and be known for doing things right. So I've been trying to pair them up with Raphael when I come across them. So that's all I got to say about it.
Yep, she has. I talked to him. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I thank you, Jennifer. We definitely appreciate that. We've been working with brokers and speaking to brokers, good brokers. There are a lot of them out there, and they want to get involved with the association. And, some of them we've already got on board. We've had them on board for some time now. And the whole thing behind the broker training course is, we get to bring people in and we get to train them the way that we want them trained. They get to learn how to become a freight broker, and we build out our broker network in-house. One of the things I always like to point out is, companies like TQL are TQL because they've got 8,000 bodies, in their organization. And mostly all of those people are banging the phones out, beating shippers over the head, 5 days a week, doing follow-up calls, emails, just keeping their name and their email in their inbox. You know what I mean? And in order for us to be able to compete at that level, we have to be the same way. And this is the fastest, best way to build out the broker. Bring our people in, into the association ourselves, train them, give them the tools that they need to be able to be successful. And, that's the way we're building out the freight broker right now.
Still there, Megan?
Yeah, I'm here. I think the most powerful thing that's happening here is I hear, support for the truckers. They have the membership support. There's so many aspects to what you're doing that are supporting them that it becomes something that actually is an organization that's going to help people get a better, have a better outcome in the long run. And you're creating a website that's gonna help them connect with these resources. And I just think it's a phenomenal thing. I'm just sitting back listening to this. There's so many aspects that you're covering that you're actually going to be helping people with, from insurance to tires to the general community coming together that you're building, that it's in your support group and your team. So all of it is looks to me like a really great foundation for success.
Looks like I got to become a broker.
we could probably use you. We got a lot of members. I want to speak to. I've had several brokers call me, just feeling things out, wanting to know if you are a broker out there and you're wanting to move some loads. We're looking. We're this is where the rubber meets the road. So we're looking to bring people on. We have a 10% cap, and we're enforcing the clarity. But I just want to say this about the 10% cap. Me and Mike were talking last night about keeping things at market rate so that not for loads that require more work. Some loads require permits, require several different things. So we talked about making sure that people that had more work into a load could get paid for what they were doing properly, because we know that it's not always just cut and dry. So there is going to be some instances where we are doing more than 10%, but it's going to be, we're going to make sure people are getting paid for what they're doing, at market rate. So I'll leave it right there on that.
Well, I mean, they could only trust you, Jake. I mean, you were a trucker for how many years, and you're going to step into this role. So, you got to build your own trust, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We came out here. We've been preaching a lot of things, saying a lot of things, and making a lot of promises. And the industry's stepping back, watching what we're doing. We're the ones saying that we're going to set the standard, and we're going to enforce the standard, and people are watching us. So that's what we're doing, and we want things to be fair. We know that there's a gray area in a lot of things, and that's just part of how society functions. And like I was just talking about with the, certain times there's going to be more needed out of a rate for a broker because he's had to put more effort into it. We're here to give owner operators and lease operators the tools to succeed and enforce the standards that we're setting. We expect the industry to follow because there's no one else out there doing it. We're doing it, and we're holding ourselves to that same standard. We hold our drivers to that same standard. We expect our drivers to go out there and represent NOAA and we expect them to go out and represent NOAA and be good, courteous drivers that do a good job for us. So I'll just leave it right there.
I think the better part too, Jake, is now that if you had a driver come in, you know how he's insured, you know about his equipment. I mean, that can make your word that much stronger. So yeah, there's a lot there, man. There's a lot there.
Yes. I mean, we're going to be able to provide driver training for people that don't have it, knowledge that's going to further them in this industry, so it's only going to get better. The rates are going to get normalized. We're going to take a lot of the backdoor brokering, double brokering. We're going to take a lot of the volatility out of the market. I don't know. I can't give you exact numbers because we just don't know because we're not there yet. But I know that bringing something normal to the market where people can rely on with good, safe drivers and good on-time deliveries that's what's needed. So we plan on doing that. So.
Well, I mean, even putting the contracts in and all, now you have the confidence that you're able to do it for what you're speaking about with no hidden gray areas. That would be the biggest, tool that you have in your tool shed.
Yep. Well, there's a lot that we haven't spoke of that Mike just hinted to something earlier. We don't have a whole bunch of work on our load board yet. We are lining it up. We have people calling us daily with master contracts, people that can provide. So we're piling it up as the best we can, and we're getting ready to go. We're going to be hitting the ground running. We have our dispatch department is going to be looking for loads, and they're going to be saying it's a 10% cap, and we're going to enforce the clarity rule. We're going to give them the rules to set those standards and enforce them. So I'll just leave it right there with that.
Sound like you got a partner, Jake.
Yeah, that's my grandson. I'm actually up in Tulsa visiting my daughter for the weekend. I didn't get me a load out, so I stayed, and we're driving around in Tulsa, so I make sure I get good signal. That was earlier when I didn't have no signal. I was on my way here.
Hey, Joshua, how you doing? Welcome to the stage. What do you have that?
Hey, brother, how you doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good, sir.
Very well, very well. Hey, and I think it was 10 Point that was speaking in regards to an exception for the 10% cut to the broker. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because you had brought up like permitting and stuff like that in reference to like overdimensional freight. And all the experience I have typically, currently, I'm not saying the way you guys plan to do things, but currently you call a broker on an overdimensional load and they want nothing to do with the permitting process. That's on the carrier, whether they want to go through the process or if they want to hire a third party company to do permits. So is there something else you want to elaborate on, an exception for over 10%?
And I can't speak specifically, but there's times when people they end up having to put a lot more work into a contract, and sometimes 10% is just not going to cut it. So it's like I said, it's going to be market rate according to how much work they got into it. They're going to get paid for it. You know what I mean? So I can't really elaborate to specifics on that, but I just wanted to make that clear. We're bringing on brokers. And it's not always cut and dry. Sometimes there's a gray area, like I said. So I can't elaborate to anything specific right now, but just depends on how much work these people have to put out. If it's just point and click and post it on the board, it's going to be a flat rate, and that's just the way it's going to be. But there's times when people got to put a lot more work into something, and they expect to get paid for that. And we're going to maintain and make sure people are happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I honestly, man, I get, even in this current market, I get both sides of it. I speak to a lot of brokers. I have some pretty good relationships with some brokers, and I get it. There's a lot that goes into securing contracts, a lot of communication between brokers and their customers. Whether it be shippers, receivers, whoever's paying to move the product. I get it. And honestly, if the lane rate is fair, me personally, I don't really care what the broker's making off the cut. It's their responsibility to maintain that contract. So, in regards to what they make, I don't really care as long as the lane rate's fair. And then, also, you see a lot of other brokers that their cut is extremely deep and their rate is not fair, and that's where a lot of us carriers have a serious problem. And it's just it's taking a lot of people out. So that's all.
Yeah, I understand that. I think where we're at right now, I hear a lot of guys saying they're, speaking of brokers and stuff.
You just ran over that.
Hang on.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that. I think Jake's got an issue. His grandson's been working him over all weekend. Yeah, I could speak for this 10% cap personally. I think Raphael can too, because we're actually out here on the phones with these brokers and, negotiating these contracts. Some of these people have access to a massive amount of freight. And in that case, we really want to do business. So we're business people, right? So, if to get access to this freight for our members, which is great rates in some cases, better than, normal, we will negotiate. I mean, 10% is not a hard and fast, rule there. We will negotiate. And that's just smart business, right? I'm not going to fight with somebody over 2%. I will fight with somebody over 20%, though. If somebody comes to me and says, yeah, I got to get 30% out of this load. Nah, that's not going to happen. But 2%, look, if you've got enough volume and you can put enough of it on my load board for my members at reasonable rates, I'll give you an extra 2%. I don't care. So I'm going to leave that one right there.
Well, it's the same in the construction age. I'm working for a sub, for a sub, for a sub. Go ahead, Michael. You want to answer that one?
I was just going to say, we didn't start this association to cutthroat anybody. We started it to make things fair for the work that you put into it. So whether or not you're getting, we'll just put it at a standard rate, because we're not going to fight over rates all day. But say you're getting $3 a mile, on one load, and another guy's getting a little bit better of a cut, but he wants a little bit out of it. But you're still getting the same $3 a mile. Who cares? You're still getting $3 a mile. And obviously we're going for more than that, but with the market the way it is right now, $3 a mile is decent right now. It's not great, it's not good, it's decent, it's fair. But we're shooting more into place, because we're not songs don't make it right. And the simplicity is we didn't start this to kill anybody or to serve anybody. We're going to lose what they're used to having because it just isn't fair. But, in the end, we just kind of wanted things to be where people could survive and make a good living and replace your equipment. And that's the biggest thing these guys don't understand is you will never replace your equipment if all you're doing is maintaining and keeping your standard, stuff going, your standard bills and everything else. If you don't have something, you are never going to replace the equipment. So once it's gone, you're done. You're over. That's it. Start over again. And that's not the way the business is supposed to be done. But anyway, on Parker, I wanted to mention that we did not start it to starve anybody.
Marlon, I just brought 10 points back.
Maybe having problems? You're good.
No, I'm good. Actually, it was me that brought 10 point back, but I'll give it to TC. I'm just kidding. I wanted to say hi to 10 point. You're back. What's up? Please join us.
I'm here. I'm just trying to multitask with grandkids, but I got it covered.
Well, one of the things that fascinates me, it sounds like calculating the load, the value of the load. Is that some like really hard thing to do? And I'm sure it varies on a lot of different factors. Are you streamlining that calculation for members to make that like in my mind, I see a way to quickly calculate loads, check that it isn't double brokered, et cetera, et cetera. Is that what because that's the tool, the utility of what could be on the site and the direction, right? Is there a way to do that in a quick, they'd enter in some information and get that answer? Or is that a stupid question?
Well, no, it's not. In my opinion, I've gone off of what the average of fuel rates there is around where you're picking up and where you're going to, so if fuel's $3.50 a gallon, that's about what you're going to be expecting a mile. That's just a rough guesstimate. Of course, it goes by weight, how big it is, how far it's going, just several factors, and a lot of times how much care it's going to require when loading and unloading and what it is. So a lot of factors go into it, but in general rule of thumb, in my opinion, it should go You know, if it's 350 a mile or 350 a gallon around where you're picking up, then that's about what it should be. You know, if it's $5 and if it's $5 a gallon, then that's about what it should be coming out of there. You know, but it depends though. It could go either way.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that, come up behind Jake on that, you know, because I've been negotiating freight for this since the beginning. First of all, yes, no, your question is not wrong. We negotiate freight with shippers directly, and we negotiate. We're also working with brokers. It all depends on what the freight is, what the lane is, what the you know, what type of equipment's going to be needed, how much equipment is going to be needed. Do we need to drop trailers at this There's a lot of information and there's a lot of variables involved in how we're negotiating this freight. It all depends. I'm a little bit more of a hard negotiator. I have turned down large amounts of freight because it was just too low. It was definitely a lot of it, but the money wasn't right. So, you know, it was just too low. So, as you can see, Raphael is here now and he's manning the broker division. And there's a reason, because when Dominic was manning the broker, he felt differently. Look, we need a lot of freight and these people have a lot of freight. And in my opinion, I don't care if they have a lot of freight. If they need that freight moved, then they need to pay us for it. They need to pay us what it costs to move that freight. I'm not out here just to keep wheels spinning. I'm out here trying to make money. So the answer to that question is, if the money is right and it makes sense and it's not just burning fuel, yes, we're going to negotiate. So the 10% number is not a hard and fast number. I've had people come to me with $20 million worth of freight that they need moved during the year. I'm going to negotiate with that individual because he's obviously an individual. But then I've had people who come to me with, you know, stupid ideas, and I'm not willing to negotiate on that. You know, if we do any business at all, yes, it's a 10% cap, and that's that. You know, but serious people that come to us knowing that we have a large network of carriers and owner operators and, you know, looking for freight that are background checked and reliable and know what they're doing, you know, similar to like Jamie or like Jake or anyone, you know, that joins the association, then we're going to ask for the money that they deserve to get paid, or we can walk away from the deal. If you go into any deal not ready to walk away because the numbers aren't right, then you're always going to get screwed. And that's just the way that I look at it. And that's the way that I've always conducted business. And that's the way I always will. I'm always ready to push away from the table and say, nah, you know what? I'm good. If you're not ready to do that, you will always lose. And I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, Mike, I deal in contracts that are quite large. And I'm looking at contracts all day long, and I'm negotiating those contracts and then executing those contracts and seeing through the obligations that we've agreed to. So, you know, I see a lot of aspects in here and all the things that are going on. I guess because I deal with Excel so much and I do formulas to do my estimating and calculating, it would be really cool to come up with, and I'm sure you guys are already using, whatever you're using to calculate formulas for load rates and things like that. I was imagining some quick tool that members could punch in some information, and if you have the calculations, all the questions that need to be asked, and then that's just a rough estimate. You know, it's a rough beginning spot, you know, that somebody could do quick calculations for loads. That's all, because it sounds like it's a pretty complex thing. And as a layman, I'm looking at it like, well, if I know the formula and I know everything I need to enter, I can get kind of close, you know, and get an idea. I'm going to go to Hans, or Mike, you want to?
Yeah, you know, I've never put it out there on what we use to calculate these things. We use a lot of systems that are readily available out there. Some of them are very expensive, and some of them you can go right off the cuff. If you've been doing this long enough and you know the areas and you know the freight and what it's going to take, you can, talk to people intelligently about it. Sometimes the margins are tight and you need to go into the whatever system you're using and figure out what the best rate is, because you don't want to lose that contract. The people who are in this business know what we use to do stuff like that. I can tell you that software is not cheap. We do use it. We have it. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, because I'm an estimator, that's the most fascinating part to me is how you guys are calculating stuff. And yeah, that's your own thing. There's programs I'm sure that are out there that have been sold. Texas.
Yeah, I want to agree with that. But as the owner operator or small carrier, I mean, it's something that you do daily. Uh, I mean, I can tell you what my operational cost is week by week. So when I look at a load and I come to a determination that I'm going to call on that load, because I don't call on indiscriminate loads. If you call in on every load on the load board, trash loads posted at trash rates, you're doing nothing but contributing to the load rejection. So that's how they figure. Another thing that figures in is load rejection. Okay. In other words, no, I'm not taking that load, so it's calculated into the algorithm that tells them how freight is in that area that they use to control your average rate of the lanes. Okay, so if I see a trash load, I don't call on it. When I see a load that falls in the parameters of what I'm looking for, then I call on that load and I negotiate that load. But I know up front before I ever call what it's going to cost me to run that load. When you get into OD and specialty loads that require extra equipment or extra labor, say if you've got a driver assist load, or you got a load that requires E-tracks, or you got a load that requires just special equipment, which that's a niche that if you get into a niche of running something that's specialty, that's where the most money is in trucking, plain and simple. But it should come if you're in your truck and you're an owner op and you're taking your business seriously and doing your due diligence in the truck, you should automatically know what your operational cost is going to be to run every load you call on. So but like with the OD, they go all in. So they say, okay, well, this is the rate on the load all in. But then you got to stop and think about, and a lot of people don't do it. Okay, well, I got a permit? Do I got to have pilot cars? Do I got to have a pole car? What do I got to have to complete this load? And then even beyond that, a lot of companies don't realize that they can pull the permits themselves for pennies on the dollar. They'll go to JG Keller or Comdata and pull these permits at $150, $200 a permit, where you can go to the website for the state you're going into, or pull up to the scale house and pull a permit for $20. I mean, it just comes down to management of the business and running your business and knowing what you're doing. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't know that, but you got to do everything you can to keep your overhead down and your profits up. And it's tough, man. If you're doing this, you've got to negotiate. You've got to be a hard negotiator. If I see a load that I'm interested in, I call that broker. I don't care if I can do it and make money at it. If they won't come up that extra $100 or $200, then I'm not interested. I'm moving around and finding me another broker that will negotiate with me. I'd get off on the negotiation. I'm hard nosed about it. I say no when I hear no. Last week I averaged $3.40 a mile. You know what I mean? All miles, not just loaded miles, all miles last week. I negotiate hard, and I drive a hard bargain. If I can't get what I want, I sit. Unfortunately, a lot of your drivers now don't look at it like that. They think they got to turn 3,500 miles a week to be profitable, and don't realize that all their profits going right out the stack. So, I mean, man, we can sit here and talk about it, but it's so complicated and so much. I mean, yeah, when you get into big time and you start moving bunches of trucks, but I've managed up to 6 trucks and been very successful without a TMS, which is trucking management software that figures your cost per mile and everything. But I mean, when you get into something as big as association looks at, you're going to have some kind of a TMS to manage everything. But I'm gonna park it there, y'all.
I want to touch on something he just said. I know we probably lost him or something. As far as TMS software and bidding software and stuff, we have all of that in place. We've had it in. I mean, I've used this stuff for years. That's not really our issue. The issue is the market that we're in right now. People want to be at a certain price, and we want to be at a certain price as well. It's difficult because a lot of people know what's going on out there. Why are you going to pay our price when you've got knuckleheads on load boards doing these loads for a lot less money? The niche here is service, right? You're going to have a lot less issues dealing with a company like ours than you would with some random person that you get connected with on a load board. So it's all about sales, and how NOAA sells the association. So there's a lot of variables to it, brother. But we have all of our systems in place. Right now, it's just a matter of getting enough freight to satisfy all of our members, and we feel we've answered that question. So we're good with that. I'll leave it at that. I think Joshua has another question, and Michael as well.
Yeah, so this one's actually for you, WM. In regards to how you guys know as an association plans on getting freight for your members. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are working as a brokerage to try to get broker freight, get contracts. I'm assuming you're also offering other brokers to get their loads moved through the association. Are you guys charging them to get access to us as a carrier, or do you care to elaborate on kind of the process?
Yeah, that's a good question, brother. Thank you. Let me give you 100. Bam. Yes, it is a case by case situation because we have because we have such a large network. We've been getting approached by a lot of brokers to move freight on our load board. For the most part, we've been allowing them to do it for low rates, very low cost to them. In some cases, we've made agreements to let them do it for nothing because they have so much volume. And our focus is to get our members moving and profitable. So I hope that answers your question. It's a case by case basis. If we come across an individual that has volume and they're willing to, and they have good rates and they're willing to provide us with all of it, then we're going to work with that person. The association is not looking to make a large profit off of brokers that want to work with us. We want them to survive, but we most importantly want our members to prosper. So the association is not looking for anything out of that relationship. The association is fine. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so I mean, they're obviously right now, I mean, brokers that are posting stuff on the spot market, they're paying to have access to the load board to be able to post something for, us carriers to be able to call on. Is that going to be an option for them to be able to have like a membership access to Noah's load board to be able to post their loads, or are they going to have to work directly with you guys in the office? Yeah.
No, sir. I'm glad you asked that because the developers brought that point up earlier, and we thought we made that clear to them, but we obviously didn't. No, the brokers will have options, and shippers, by the way. We deal directly with shippers as well. They have options. They can post their loads on our load board themselves as long as they are a member of NOAA and are approved to do so, or we can be intermediaries and do it for them. It's up to them. Either way, NOAA tries to have as little involvement financially in that transaction. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The last thing I want to just ask about, to the best of my knowledge, the website isn't up yet. Any ETA on when that's going to be up, so that we can kind of, myself at least can get some more information on, on the association and how it plans to operate and everything.
Yeah, the website should be fully operational by Wednesday, the latest Thursday. We have a large add-on that we need to get incorporated into the website, and it's already put together. It just needs to be integrated into the back end of the website. So the developers are finishing all the easy stuff up this weekend, and the website will actually be finished either tonight or tomorrow, but it's not going to fully go live until probably Wednesday or Thursday until we get that last load board add-on connected to the website. If I can expand a little bit on your last question, that was a question that the developers brought me over the weekend as well. Is the load board only going to be accessible by us? And I came back to them and told them, no, we need to be able to give individual brokers and shippers access to the load board as well, because as we negotiate deals, they may want to be in control of their own freight. As long as, like Jake said, they are operating under the guidelines of NOAA, they are more than welcome to do that. We don't want them coming out and telling a member, oh yeah, I know we negotiated 10%, but I need to take 20 out of it. No, it is 10% unless otherwise noted. So yes, with the approval of the association, brokers and shippers can post their own freight on the load board.
And I'll say this to that also.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
I'll say this to that also. We are going to have insurance, health insurance, retirement, stuff like that. So, hey, boy. So, and it's going to be an insurance pool. So once we start spreading the cost out, that's going to get cheaper and cheaper. So the more shippers and brokers that want to be involved, the cheaper our insurance is going to get, So that's something we're looking forward to having people coming on board for also. So I'll leave it at that.
Jennifer, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to say something about the broker loads and whatever. And so, one thing I wanted to ask was something I've said all along is I'm a salesperson. I sell the services that we offer, and when you have a broker out there and they've got a load, if I'm a broker and I'm able to go back to my shipper and negotiate more because I'm just a great salesperson, does that count it in the 10%? I got to give a part of my 10% too. I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, listen, 10% is 10%. We're not trying to understand where this comes from, right? You've got companies like TQL negotiating rates where they can take 50% out of the load. 60% out of the load, 70% out of the load. Like, I don't want anyone to get stuck on this 10% number. The whole point is to allow an owner operator to stay in business. Now, if you feel you have a situation that's worth more than 10%, we're going to entertain that. But if you come to us and say, yeah, you know, we're looking at you like you're DAT and we're going to just push you around and, you know, we're going to take 70% out of the load, that is never, ever, ever going to happen here. It is never going to happen here. Just like double brokering is not going to happen here. So any broker that's listening to this, any shipper that's listening to this, we are not saying that, you know, we're 10% is a hard and fast rule. What we're saying is, don't try to come to us telling us you're going to take a massive amount of money out of these loads and leave.
Matt must have hit the button.
Sorry about that. My cord crossed the screen. Pardon me, Mike. I am sorry.
No, that's fine. That's what we're saying. Like, you know, we're not saying 10% is the, you know, the mandate. We're saying that it's a guideline, and we're willing to negotiate rates all across the board. It doesn't matter, and that's pretty much it.
I sort of figured that. I just wanted to ask that because I didn't want this to be like, oh well, we're so anti-broker that we're get, you know, capitalism is key, you know, in in this world, and everybody wants to make money, and if I'm able to, some people want to do business with me as a collections agency, as a collector, because they like my work, and I want to work with Jennifer. I don't care what her percent is because she's going to get me collected. Plus, I'm awesome sauce in a bottle. But besides that, I'm just saying. So if I as a broker, if I'm also awesome sauce in a bottle, and I go back to my customer and they want to work with me, they don't really care. They just want to give me more money because I'm that great. You know, I just didn't know if I had to split that with my carrier also then. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear for anybody that might be a broker and have that question. Just wanted to throw it out there.
No, and you know, I appreciate that question. I'm going to say this. First of all, the National Owner Operators Association is a broker. It's not just an association. It's made up of three different entities. It's an association, it's a broker, and it's a carrier. So for us to say that we're anti-broker, we would never say that. We're not anti-broker. Absolutely 100% not anti-broker. We are a broker. We're not anti-carrier. We are a carrier. For any of the other associations out there that, like the one I was arguing with for 3 hours today, we're not anti-association. We are an association. What we are is not anti-establishment. Okay? We're not going to play the games that have been played over the decades. We're not going to tolerate a broker coming to us telling us I'm special. I got to take 70% out of this load for myself. I sit in a chair all day, shining my ass with the seat, and I got to take 70% out of that load. We're not going to allow a carrier to be a part of NOAA that's wrenching his owner operators and, you know, giving them 35% of the income of the truck every week and charging them for every little thing. We're not going to tolerate that. We have a mandate that is what it is, and that's it. Now, special circumstances come up where you may need to take a little bit more. Maybe you know, you have a situation where you need to where you require to take a little bit more out of a load, or you require to charge your owner operators more to lease onto your authority, or whatever the case may be. We will look at that on a case-by-case basis like we've been doing in the past. But we are a broker, and we are a carrier, and we are an association. So we are not anti-anything. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Mike, real quick before we go to Michael, what happens when now you've cut some money out of the loads? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for the shipper to go to you guys now directly as their new broker? And, you know, everybody's saving money across the board. So now the customer's saving money on the products that you're pulling. right?
You know, that's an excellent question, brother. And those crickets, I swear, you have to be laying in the grass somewhere, brother. That is so loud. But I love it. I wish I could hear crickets where I am. I don't. You know, that's the idea. You know, we've incubated this whole situation. Like, we tested it to see how it would work, and if the shippers would like it, and the owner operators would like it. And we have contracts, and we've been giving out loads, and people have been taking loads, and we've been moving loads and factoring loads, and you know, it's worked. And what we realized is that shippers actually love it. They like the fact that guys are happy to carry their loads. They like the fact that guys know what they're getting paid. They like the fact that, you know, guys aren't miserable when they show up to the receiver or when they show up to pick up the load. They love it. I've heard shippers have told me outright, look, I use TQL. I use JB Hunt to move my freight. They're scumbags. I know they're taking all this money out of these loads, and you guys are getting paid garbage to move my freight. And I don't agree with it. And I love doing business with you. So, yes, we want to keep that going. I guess this goes back to Joshua's question. We want as little to go to the association as possible. The association is funded by other means, and we want as little of the broker's commission and as little of anyone's money to go back into the association as possible. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Go ahead, Michael.
Kind of out of breath here, moving tires across my yard. But anyway, I wanted to reiterate again. I was trying to just throw out a number there. I'm well aware of what needs to be made to keep a truck in business, and pretty much, you know, I've said since day one, you just look at the fuel price, where you're going to start out at, and you divide them by 2, and that's pretty much what you need to have your rate at to operate a reefer, at least. I mean, flatbed, you know, you've got equipment charges, tarps. I mean, people don't realize those tarps are $1,000 a piece, you know. And I've ran flatbed, I ran tanker, I ran car hauler, ran pretty much everything. And there's just so much money in keeping it maintained that, you know, when you throw out a number, especially when you're done with the public, and you say, you know, I want you know, price of fuel right now in my area is $4.25, I think, and it's come down a lot, but it's $4.25 a gallon, so I want $4.25 a mile. They go, what? That's a lot of money. Well, yeah, but the cost is up there too. So I mean, tires last year cost me $2,600 and some change, $2,800 and some change for my drives, and this year on sale it cost me $4,000. The tire that I have on the truck right now, for that tire, straight from the place that I bought it from last year, is $5,800 for that same $2,800 set of 8 tires. So everything's gone up. So when they say, oh, that's a lot of money. Well, yeah, but I just spent $4,000 in tires. So, you know, and that's just today. I spent another $1,800 in tires for my steers about 2 months ago, and I'm getting ready to spend another $4,000 in trailer tires here pretty quick. So, you know, you calculate it, and then the price of fuel is pretty much half of whatever you're running the freight for nowadays. So I didn't want to throw out a large number out there or anything else like that. That's why I just said we'll just keep it at $3. But I am well aware that $3 is that's the low end of the ball game here. And you know, like I said, it's reasonable, but it's not good. It's not great. It's not anything. It's not nothing that, you know, you're going to do all the time and keep on doing. But it's something that will keep you in business. And that's pretty much it. As far as, you know, what Mike's saying with the load board and everything else like that, and everybody's talking about with the load board, and the brokers are worried about just 10%. Well, okay, just 10%. Let's go with just an easy figure. You got 1,000 loads, you know, at $1,000, and Obviously, those are low figures. I'm just doing it because it's easy math, okay? That's $1 million. So if you got an account that moved 1,000 loads for $1,000, it's $1 million. 10% of that is $100,000 for doing what? You're not waiting for phone calls to come in anymore. All you do is put the information into the load board. You send it out there. It sits there. Somebody pushes the button, takes it. You don't even see it. That's it. Somebody's already authorized through NOAA to take that load, and it just works that way. You don't have to answer the phone all day long. That's going to free up the broker's time. All he's got to do is his job to get the load. He doesn't have to sit there and babysit the phone all day long. And furthermore, you know, the people that are going to be on these loads aren't your standard Swift drivers that, you know, need to be watched how to turn the steering wheel. So, you know, again, the load's going to get there. And our people are going to be vetted so that we know that they're going to get the load there. And if they don't get the load there the first time, they're probably not going to be getting the load there anymore, because we need reliable people. And granted, you know, there's exceptions. You know, trucks break down. We all know that. But if you're somebody that has to stop at every truck stop and then tell me why you're 3 hours late in the end of the game, you know, there's a problem there, and we'll have to weed those people out. But in the end, you're getting somebody more than likely going to get your load there on time, if not early, okay? Because we want to get the next load on. That's how we make our money. But when they're taking all the money out of it, we can't even afford the fuel. There's no reason to really keep running. So again, like I said, easy figures, okay? A load from Salt Lake to Florida paying about $14,000. I know that for a fact. 10% of that is $1,400. Times that by 1,000, see what you come up with. So I'm just saying, you know, the money's there for the brokers too. It's just not there for the mega brokers or the TQL or any of those guys anymore. They're not going to be taking all the money, putting it in their pocket and making themselves rich while we starve to death. What we're doing is bringing our people on board to make money with us, not to take all the money from us. Okay. And as soon as I can mute my mic, I will.
No problem. Joshua.
Yeah, I just want to bring up the percentage thing again. And this is just me speaking for myself. You know, I wouldn't, and I think a lot of other carriers wouldn't be offended by hearing, you know, NOAA's association wants to get a percentage, or, you know, wants to charge like a fee, or, you know, however it was to work out, if you guys were to do it that way, considering, you know, we're in an association, we're being represented properly. And, you know, I don't know how it would work, but I would assume if the load's being brokered through the association, say there was a, you know, detention involved, or, you know, any kind of other things, if the drop, you know, if there's a problem with the drop and the load had to be rerouted, however that would work out, if we were to know that, you know, the association would have our back on that, you know, I think a lot of people would feel comfortable knowing that, you know, you guys are, you know, are getting some skin in the game. You know, it's just like, you know, being leased on the Mercer or whatnot. Yeah, people look at the percentage that they take. It's, I don't know what it is now, 25%, maybe even almost 30%, I think. But you're getting access to their private load board. You know, you have a load coordinator that you work with. So, you know, they bring stuff to the table. I've heard people say, "Oh, you're crazy. You lease on the Mercer, you pay 25%, whatever it may be," but they don't look at what they bring to the table. So, you know, that's something else, you know, people have to consider, especially carriers have to consider that, you know, everybody's got to make a living. And, you know, if you're putting in time, you know, whoever's running the back office in the association, whoever's putting in time, you know, you guys got families to provide for too. And we're, you know, we all just want a fair shot at the pie.
You know, I hear what you're saying, and you know, I understand exactly where you're coming from. There's a lot to be said with a back when you're dealing with a back office that's just like they're there. You know what I mean? And we took that under consideration as well. And I feel that our back office support is there as well. Now, we provide the same type of support as the company you just mentioned. It's a little bit different, but we do provide the same type of support. Yes, if you run into an issue with a shipper, we are the intermediary. We will be there for you. If you call up the office, we will take care of it. We'll be there for you 24/7. Do we charge 25, 30% for that? No, we do not, sir. No, we do not. If you want the full suite of our services, including dispatching, the load board, everything, and you're leasing on to NOAA, it's 23%. That is the full suite, top to bottom, 23%. If you don't want dispatching and you're dispatching yourself, it's between 15 and 18%. That's it. And we provide the same services, if not better, than that company you just mentioned. So I'll leave it right there.
I do want to bring. I want to bring something up real quick. If we're gonna, we talked about last night that we're gonna have arbitrators when we run into issues between brokers or shippers in any aspect where we run into any trouble. And arbitrators that step in and handle things for a member, for a shipper, and have an issue with a driver, anything like that. So I don't know if that's spoke about yet, but I did want to let everybody know that we are talking about. And I'll leave it right there.
Marlon, if you see my thumb go over 10 point, can you mute his mic, please? The thing is, that is something that we're working on. It's a very, very large package for the arbitration process between the shipper, the owner operator, and the owner operator and the broker, and then all three stakeholders involved. That is a very large piece of legislation that we're working on, that we are in the infancy stages of. For anyone that is listening, what he just spoke about is a piece of a very large piece of legislation that we're going to be introducing to Congress at some point in the future, and I'll leave it right there. But it does include an arbitration system that will basically be in effect if a truck driver runs into an issue with a shipper or a broker, or vice versa. So I'll leave it at that.
Real quick, Mike. Also point out the fact that you can also buy parts through it, insurance. You know, there's a lot of other aspects. Are these other houses doing that too?
No. OIDA has a kind of process where you could do something like that. Theirs is definitely nothing like ours. We have a full suite of services for owner operators. It's basically a one-stop shop for anything you may need to run your business: compliance, dispatching, load board, just a whole bunch of services. 24-hour roadside assistance, health insurance, life insurance, retirement planning. I could just go on and on, but we've got everything you could possibly need to run your business. Plus, we've got it at a lower price than anyone else out there that's offering that service. I can tell you right now that if you run into a situation where you get a freight guard placed on you, I don't know of many companies that can help you with that and mediate that to get that removed from your freight carrier 411 profile. We do that. Double brokering. If you get caught in a double broker situation, we step in and we handle that. If you're having issues getting funds recovered for detention, layovers, any type of thing like that, we can step in and get that back to you. I know Jennifer has already gotten thousands of dollars recovered for people that aren't even members of the association yet. I know she's done that. I've gotten I've gotten 411 carrier 411 freight guards removed off of people's carrier 411 profiles. We've done it for free right now. And no. The answer to your question is no. No one out there is doing what we're doing.
Jennifer, Texas. Jennifer.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now, dear.
I see the thumbs up, but I can't only hear some people. I hear Mike just fine and whatever, but somebody else was speaking a minute ago and I didn't hear them. So I was just going to say, not last year because I switched companies last year, but the year before I recovered over $1 million for my clients alone, just myself and what I was able to recover. So in 1 year, I helped carriers recover over $1 million for their services that they were having issues with. Somebody is having issues with they're under a load and their broker told them they could deliver straight through. And Texas will tell you, I mean, I did it for him. I turned a $2,500 load into a $10,000 load nearly because of having how long he was held up under the load. His driver was stuck there. They said they would unload him as soon as he got there, no matter what. They didn't do it. I mean, this was days stuck under this load. And I mean, I did it for another carrier also. They took a load out. It had to get there. It was an urgent load. It was chicken. It was frozen chicken. They get there, and there's 16 trucks in front of them waiting for days running reefers out there, and it was hot. It was July. It was crazy. So it's not just carrier for ones. It's not just with the brokers, but sometimes the shippers and the receivers, I have to get involved with them, helping people to get paid the proper rate for their load after things go wrong. So just want to let you know that we do that. I can help with that a lot of times. Now, I'm not a magician. I am a genie in a bottle, but I'm not a magician. So there are some loads that don't get paid. I mean, there's some people that really dig in, or we have to litigate with some of them. But we do try to help everybody. Usually if I talk to the brokers and I talk the right talk, I can help get you paid the right rate if you're owed money if they didn't do what they said they would do. It's just sometimes it's how you talk to them. So, anyways, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, Texas.
Yeah, and don't let her sell that short because that $10,000 load she got me paid on right around, I think it was $9,500 or $9,600 was a 250-mile load, holiday weekend. Supposed to be delivered straight through just to get me to another area, and they tied me up, and my driver's mother died of COVID while he was under the load, so he had to break and go to Tennessee and redeliver it all the way back up in Kentucky. He was down in Tennessee, down around Cleveland area. So yeah, they had to pay for that. I mean, it was all on them because they assured me that when I set up the load that they would get him delivered. It didn't matter when he got loaded, and they closed on him before he got there. But yeah, she's done that several times for me. She's awesome. She's got me paid time and time again. She's good at what she does. I wanted to go back to the back office. Somebody was asking about the back office, and that falls under the carrier division, the management. If you're in the carrier division, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a stickler for my drivers being professional. First and foremost, professionalism is a must. If you're not professional, you will not be working for me long, because if you're not professional and you go into a situation, stuff happens in trucking. You get tied up, you get caught up. If you go in there unprofessional, then you not only hurt yourself and your own company, you hurt the association or the company you're leased onto. So I tell my drivers straight up, if there becomes a problem, do not ever, not one time, not the first time, get out of line with a shipper, a receiver, or a broker. If there's a problem, you say, yes, sir. Okay, well, you need to speak to my office, and you call me, and I will deal with it. Because the way they look at it, you're just a driver, and it sucks, but that's the way they look at it. So when I go in and I try to deal with it, or I deal with it, I'm coming in as a manager, okay? And that gives me more clout in their eyes. So I'm a stickler for that, man. Professionalism is a must, because when I deal with stuff, regardless where I'm at, if I'm managing or if I'm driving, I do it professionally. It gains you return business no matter how bad the situation gets. If you deal with it professionally, they're going to come back to you and say, hey, you dealt with this well. It was a bad situation. You worked through it. So, hey, you know, we're even though it turned out bad, we're willing to do business with you. That is absolutely one of the most important things in doing business, is being professional about the business you do. We know that drivers out there on the road, they get heated. They get caught up. They get in traffic. They've been driving all day. They're tired. So what I ask my people is bring it to me and let me deal with it. That's what I get paid to do, you know, and I'm going to deal with it in a certain way that everybody's going to come out happy on the other side. And if I can't deal with it, I'm going to call Jenny in a bottle. But that's the way I require. I mean, literally, if I got a driver that gets out there and gets out of line with the shipper and receiver, you get more bees with honey than you do with salt. So, you know, if you go into a shipper receiver with an attitude, you're automatically going to be at the back of the line. So, I mean, it's just how to deal with things, and I'm a stickler for it. I mean, like I said, if somebody breaks that or gets unprofessional with a broker, a shipper, a receiver, and they don't contact me and let me deal with it, then they're not going to be working for me. Plain and simple.
Mike, let Jeannie respond, and you go, Mike.
I was just going to add a situation that happened. I had a guy who had, I don't know, like 6 or 8 hours of detention. He split between the shipper and the receiver. And once he got done unloading, he had paid a lumper service, and they left all of the trash in his trailer, or put it back in his trailer. So he pulled out from the truck and closed his doors. He had a couple flattened boxes and then small and his truck, and they had to get somewhere to pick up his next load. And he said he's going to be looking for a place to, you know, sneak around behind back to dump the stuff off in some dump, probably get fined. And then when he tried to get paid, they said, well, the receiver called and said that you left debris there, so they weren't going to pay your detention. And I said, so he called me up, and I called the broker, and I said, you know, those are not mutually exclusive issues. I said, you can't use one to negate the other. I said, and he said, well, we got fined because they had to have a trash service come in. I said, are you talking? It was like 7 flattened boxes that go between pallets from the shipper in a small bit of debris. I said, but what I was going to get at here is, as I told that driver, I said, driver. He goes, yeah, I was mad. I left it at there. I said, next time, sweep it into a neat pile, stack the boxes nice and neat on top of each other, put the debris right on top of that so it's tied up in a neat little bow. Make sure you talk to the receiving manager and say, hey, can you get this off first? If they say no, then leave that nice, neat, tied in a bow pile, and you're going to come off professional, where instead of looking like somebody that had a temper tantrum because it didn't come off your truck. I said, and that's going to get you paid. And when I talked to the broker, he goes, well, actually, let me see how much money I have in this load. And he came back and he paid that detention, which tells me he took way too much money for that load to start with. But that's not here nor there. I did get him paid on it. And it's about the professionalism, though, that you come off with when you deal with these people. That's all.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I want to clarify something that was said earlier when Jake was answering Joshua's question to me about issues that arise with loads. We really don't want to say too much about what we've been doing concerning regulations and how business is done in this industry, but we've been working on something which is basically an SRO, a self-regulatory organization for the transportation industry. It's a very large piece of legislation that Jake and I, have been working on for a while now. I am from the securities industry, and I don't know if anyone knows, but the securities industry is self-regulated. It is, and the securities industry self-regulates with the government. They basically work in tandem with each other. And Jake and I have put together the broad strokes of something like that for the transportation industry. So one of the things that the securities industry does to deal with problems between the general public and members of the securities industry, they have something called arbitration. So Jake and I have developed something similar for the transportation industry. We're not ready to go public with it now, but it is something that we are going to bring forward in the near future. We've developed a self-regulatory organization for all of the members, all of the stakeholders of the transportation industry, meaning carriers, owner operators, brokers, shippers, all have a seat at the table, and we basically self-regulate. We regulate ourselves. We deal with any issues that come up so they don't have to go to the government, and so they can fuck everything up basically and hand it back to us as the piece of shit like they've been doing for the last 40 years, 43 years. So that is what Jake was alluding to as far as arbitration is concerned. It's one of the pieces of, it's one of the things that's going to be inside of what we're putting together on how issues can be settled between, say, owner operators and brokers as far as detention is concerned, layovers, brokers not wanting to pay for certain things. You know, these are the things that we've been working on behind the scenes, actual ways of making this transportation industry that we all rely on for our livelihoods run more efficiently and more fairly for all of the parties involved. So that's what he was alluding to, Joshua, as far as arbitration is concerned. I'll park it right there. Go ahead, Joshua. You have your hand up.
Yeah, I appreciate you touching back on that and clarifying that a little bit for me. If you guys don't mind, I wanted to change the subject a little bit. I brought this up before, probably in one of these other meetings and definitely in other spaces, is in regards to what Texas was saying, in short, quality carriers that have good composure and that can present themselves in a respectful business manner. That's a big problem we have in this industry. And I'm a young. I mean, I would be considered a kid to you guys, I'm sure. Real young, and I enjoy trucking. I not only from a business standpoint, but I like it. I got my passion in it, and I see out here all the time. These people out here, they don't have no respect. They don't have respect for themselves. They don't have respect for where they park. I know it's a hard thing to try to respect brokers, but to have a professional relationship, at least with some brokers, and it's just like they portray like everybody's the devil. I have some good relationships with brokers. There's other brokers that are complete assholes. It's simple. Just be respectful and just get off the phone with them. So I think that's a big problem in this industry. That and education. People are just poorly educated on the business side of things, and I think it's going to be a challenge, moving forward to try to vet carriers and get good ones that represent the association in a professional manner.
Well, I can tell you this, that we plan on, like I said, we're a standard, and we expect our members to have a standard. And we're not messing around. So it's not for the police, and we're coming, bashing heads, but if you want to be a member of our association and get work from us and get the association, you're the rules. You know, openly and blatantly breaking the law and it's detrimental to the industry. You're not going to be part of it. We're just going to black because there's plenty of people out there that are wanting to do the right thing, that are going to work harder. You know, this is a capitalist society. And if you're out there being a fool, you're going to end up, you know, losing out.
Hey, I don't know if it's my connection or what, but I can barely understand what he's saying. Is
Yeah,
anybody else having?
he's in and out
Yeah.
of it.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
10 point.
Joshua, I think I could, I know what Jake is saying basically because we spoke about it just as early as last night at like 1:30 in the morning. The National Owner Operators Association has a code of conduct, and that's why it's weird. Like so many people joined up and paid their membership fee last night, and we have to address that because unless you agree to the code of conduct, you can't become a member. So I have to address that with the developers because they just ran in and paid the membership fee and boom, they're members. And we do have a whole page dedicated to the code of conduct at the National Owner Operators Association. So that has to be signed and agreed to before you could become a member of the National Owner Operators Association. And how you handle yourself is important to us. Now, what you're talking about is part of a broader problem that is a government issue, basically. And that's where what Jake and I have come up with as far as the SRO, the self-regulatory organization that's made up of industry professionals that regulate themselves. There should be no reason for a broker to be disrespectful to anyone. And there should be no reason for an owner operator or a carrier to be disrespectful towards a broker. The parking issue, that's out of our hands, brother. We don't have anything to do with that. But as a collective, we could bring that issue to the people who do have the control to make that better. And we could force them to look at that issue and fix it. That's basically what I wanted to say on that. The disrespect and the lack of knowledge and the the difficulties that guys like yourself who love this business have to stand by and watch. We could help with some of it, and we have suggestions to fix all of it, but this is America, and if you're just a small group trying to push for these changes, it's a little difficult. But if you're a large group pushing for these changes, things become a little bit easier and more likely to happen. We didn't really want to speak about the self-regulatory organization at this meeting, but it's out there, so that's what it is, and that's what we're looking to do. Ultimately, that's what we're looking to do in Congress. We're looking to create a self-regulatory body that's going to work in tandem with the FMCSA and the DOT and the Department of Justice. So if we find wrongdoing in our industry, we'll deal with it first. If it is so big and egregious that we can't deal with it, we'll refer it to the FMCSA. If the FMCSA feels that a crime was committed, they'll refer it to the Department of Justice. That's the way the securities industry works. It's worked like that for many decades, and the securities industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and it should be good enough for the transportation industry. And I'll leave it right there.
Hey y'all, I want to tell y'all I'm finna jump off, man. I need to spend some family time. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Matt, TC, Marlon, Mike. Thank y'all. I'm gonna spend some family time, brother. I've been out 2 weeks, so.
Hey, Jamie and friends. Yeah, I'm in transit right now to another location, but I really appreciate you coming up here with us, Jamie, and you have fun now and be safe. I think Michael has his hand up, though. Michael.
I was just going to add into our general conduct. If you're caught throwing garbage or bottles, and we'll leave it at that, out of the truck, and you are representing the association, I would say that's an immediate termination. That's why we can't park nowhere. We can't do nothing. We're looked at as, garbage scum of the earth, is because of what we as truck drivers, not necessarily me, because I walk my stuff to the trash can, but I think that should be in our conduct. But I want to say we'll talk to you later, Tex. You have a good one and enjoy your time with your family.
Yeah, that's kind of part of what I was getting at, is like, prior to me, getting into trucking, I had a totally different job. I worked on heavy equipment, and I got into trucking, didn't work for a company, just went straight into owner op. And prior to that, I had no idea, and I would have never imagined in 1,000 years that these truck stops and the way these people act and the cleanliness, it's fucking disgusting. Bathrooms are disgusting. People piss on the floor, throw their shit in the cans, like garbage in parking lots. Like it's so disgusting. And you see, no offense to anybody directly, but you see the type of people and the way they conduct themselves, and it's just sad. It's just, I don't know.
That sounds like a truck stop problem. Like doesn't sound like they're manning the station correctly to be able to clean it up for you, especially because you are paying for those services, right, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, but it's all over. I mean, there are some good truck stops, but it's just the amount of people that are just disgusting that stop at these truck stops. It's I guess it's overwhelming, or I don't know if it's the staff they hire. It's hard to get good staff at these truck stops. They don't pay them enough. I don't know how to fix it, or what the what the actual reason for it is, but it's a high majority of truck stops, especially in densely populated areas.
Look, truck parking in this country is a nationwide issue. If you watch C-SPAN or anything like that, you could see that they're debating it in certain committees in Congress. It's a hot button topic. You know what I mean? And what can I say? It's an issue where guys are handling it the best that they can. You know what I mean? Yes, people are disgusting, and they do things in truck stops like throwing garbage out and using the bathroom out in the open. They do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing. There's not enough truck parking in this country, and ELDs have not made it better. It is a problem. It is a problem that was created by the FMCSA and Congress. And look, that's another issue that we're going to address. What else can I say on that, brother? That's a part of a larger problem that we are dealing with every day. Yeah, I'll leave it right there.
Go ahead, Jen.
I was just going to say, I've heard comments from other drivers in my line of work here about how people use the bathroom right outside of their cab in these truck stops and stuff. That's terrible. That's terrible. And I don't really know that that's really for the truck stop to have to clean up. Like, really, I don't think that's what I signed up for when I said I'd sweep the parking lot. I didn't know I was going to be, cleaning up other people's feces or whatever. But I mean that has to do with the human decency in this country right now. Human decency is at an all-time low. Respect for people and each other is at an all-time low. And I don't know that's something that we can change at our level. But like Mike said, we can take it to the appropriate parties that are over it and try to draw their attention to it, because that's just unsanitary. That's all.
Yeah, Jen, that's cool. Yes, there are some crummy people in this world. I don't know. I don't know if it's worse today than it was 25 years ago. I don't know.
Oh,
My
I
wife's
think
yelling.
it's way worse.
My wife's yelling. It's worse. It's worse.
It's way worse. I'm only 46, and my kids and the millennials these days, I mean, they're off the chain. And I mean, I didn't raise my kids like that, and they're still off the chain. You know, I mean, kids these days, they learn stuff in school. School tells them, oh, you have the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to whoever you want. I mean, the lack of respect in this country is terrible today.
Well, there needs to be change. So I tell you what, Mike, you want some last thoughts? Maybe we'll wrap it up here. Memorial Day weekend, you know.
Absolutely, sir. I think we had a very productive week this week. I think we're pretty much at the final stages of getting this launched 150%. I appreciate everybody's support, and hey, the National Owner Operators Association is here, and looking forward to another prosperous week. Everybody, please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for showing up today. And if you have any questions, my contact information's out there. All of the department heads' information is on the website. It should be going live any day now. And yeah, thank you. I'll leave it there. Mike, I think you had your hand up.
I'm just going to point out the fact that, you don't give yourself credit, but I heard about 5 times that you and 10 Point were up at 2 o'clock this morning working on this project. So, again, I'm going to tell you, you need to take a little bit of the credit. It's not just us. And thanks for the space. Y'all have a good one. Have a beautiful holidays, and we'll talk to you next time.
Well, listen, before we go to Justin just stood up. Justin, you want to speak real quick before these guys go?
Sure. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I figured out how to get in the space the other day. Mike, question, fees, and then your signature page to become a full member. You can call me later, tomorrow, the next day, whatever, and then we can go over it. So I can get set up. I'm a carrier, single truck, reefer, and yeah, it's bad out here. So all the help I can get, is well appreciated. And you doing an excellent job, Mike. Glad you stepped forward. And that's all I got to say.
Absolutely, sir. Please, if you don't have my contact information, try to get it. I'll be happy to talk with you anytime. Most people do have my direct number or one of them or my email. I talk to everyone, so if you don't have it, please someone get it to them and we can go over all of that. And I appreciate your kind words. And Michael, look, I hear you and I appreciate you. I'm up. Yes, I'm up late at night. So is Jake. I know Jake is the quiet one, but please, most of this is his baby. Most of it is his idea and his baby. I just basically kind of put it all together. I take all of his good ideas and I basically try to figure out a way to make them work with real world examples. So what we do is already out there. People just are not doing it. So Jake is just as responsible for all of this stuff as I am. And, all of the heads of all of the departments, including yourself, Michael, hey, it would not happen without you guys. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate MAGAMission once again for hosting us. They're a very important part of us getting our message out there. And please, these guys are on Twitter every day. Look out for them, follow them. It's not just about trucking. There are tons of other issues that we're dealing with in this world, and these guys address many of them. They're very important. Problems with schools, personal safety, government, all of that stuff. They address it. The environment. If you see them out there and they're doing a Twitter space, log in. They've got a lot of good information for you. So thank you, everyone. We still got some weekend left. Let's try to enjoy it, spend it with some loved ones, do whatever you want. Everybody just try to have a great weekend. And we're going to be back on here Tuesday at 11. So for Trucker Tuesday. So I'll see everybody on Tuesday. Thank you very much.
So Mike, before you walk out the door, so hey, I know, hey, we are standing with you. We do see the message, but I want to give you guys a little homework. Okay. Right. So you guys are on this front end, especially you, Jake. You have to entice these people to sign up for MAGAMission. And I'll tell you why. These are the issues that are coming to the table. If they want to be successful politicians, look for other avenues to be able to actually get funding for their campaigns outside their states. This is going to be the platform to do it. So this is what we're gaming for. This is what we're trying for. So the more politicians come on there, that's what we need. We need to be able to take the issues to them, expose them to the American people. When it's their chance, they're going to vote the right way. So this is the process.
Hey, I just want to let you know that we have reached out to the Freedom Caucus, and we're working on bringing some stuff to the public through Congress or through our political side. I know we haven't let anybody on our group doing that, and it's specific for a specific reason. But we are reaching out to the Freedom Caucus that's out there, and we've got some stuff working, some stuff that I'm awfully excited about. So stay tuned for that.
So Jake, what you're doing is you're laying the blueprint so we can attack it in other states, starting with New Jersey. I think it would be a good plan. So I see MAGA.
Yeah, I just wanted to give my thanks back to everybody from NOAA, and I wanted to also just real quick, because we're closing out. I couldn't have said it better than Mike. All your words were right on point, so I'm going to leave that as our closing right there. It was very strong, right on point. And I just wanted to turn to Quinn. He's been really patient. He came up, and I wanted to make sure we gave him a little bit of a time here to speak. So Quinn, please, as we close out with us, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me up. So the reason I had questions is the question that I had is, so I drove truck for about 5.5 years, and I'm looking to get back into it. And I was kind of looking for a little bit of advice. It's been almost 3 years, and the reason why it's been almost 3 years is because of the hiccup that, so I was traveling through Utah on 83, Route 83, anybody that knows that route. And it was just after a windstorm in September 2020. And I thought the winds had died down. And so they hadn't died down completely. And if anybody knows Route 83, there is no shoulder there. So it only needed like a little bit of gust of wind to push me, off that 5-foot drop and a rollover there. But I was a good driver. I didn't have, any accidents or anything like that beforehand. I just happened to be, and I know I messed up. I should have paid a little bit closer attention because of driving on 83. So I was just wondering if you guys had any advice now that I'm coming up out of the 3 years, because you're pretty much blackballed with a rollover for 3 to 5 years. So that's my question, and feel free to criticize me because I know I messed up. Going back out on the road and not checking the wind speeds. And if I had been on a regular highway where there was a breakdown lane, I'd still be here, but I wasn't. There's that 5-foot drop, so the wind only had to push me 2 inches. So just looking for any advice getting back in.
I would say keep your head down and just trust the process. Whatever their insurance is telling you that you need to do, I would just go through that process and do everything you can to keep keep it between the lines. I'll leave it at that.
Well,
I think Michael's from that area. I'd like Michael to give his input on that one. Michael.
Okay, what are we doing now?
So Quinn came up and he had a problem. He had an accident on 83. The wind blew him over. He got this big red check mark next to his name. He knew he messed up, but it's been 3 years and he wants to get back in the game.
Well, I've had people that have. One of my friends actually blew over a cow truck, flat winds in Nebraska, but I've never heard of it really blackballing you. I mean, yeah, your insurance goes up, but I've never heard of it blackballing you. And I personally, when I was hauling campers out of Indiana, I got blowed off the road by a semi truck. And anybody that's hauled a camper, they know how it works, but it sucks you in and it pushes you out and it sucks you in, or sucks you in and pushes you out. But anyway, when I came back on the road, I was on ice, and pretty much it was just Jesus take the wheel kind of thing. And in the end, the camper was on its side. I had 48 foot of camper on its side in the middle of the road, and my pickup truck was jacked up 6 feet in the ground six foot off the ground. But as far as being blackballed, I've never really heard of that as far as, in any accident. Was there extenuating circumstances? Will no insurance touch you? Or you knew when you did it? Fill me in a little bit.
I mean, either way, that stays on for 24 months. That should be a 24-month thing. He should be good. Right now, he shouldn't have no issues, but that's a 24-month thing.
Yeah, so when I was driving, I was a company driver.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew I couldn't get with any other company, and I hadn't had any experience jumping into owner op. But I think coming back, I might want to go owner op, and because you guys are starting this thing, I was wondering in that like my best avenue in that, trying to get back in. So that's kind of what I was looking for. Like anybody that had any advice on like a good place to start.
Yeah, you can call Dan. You can call Dan, our insurance guy, and get him, to maybe give you a quote, or that everything's going to run off of how much it's going to cost you to run. If it's not going to be feasible, then so you need to check with him first. Monday or Tuesday, yeah. You can talk to him.
Yeah, Jake is right, brother. You're talking about becoming an owner operator. You're not talking about driving for another company. You basically gonna have you're your own business. So you're not restricted as long as your driver's license is good. And even if your driver's license wasn't good, you'd still be able to be an owner operator. So that's basically on if an insurance company is going to give you a reasonable.
The only thing is I didn't put that on. You did last,
So
and it's been in the truck the whole time. I didn't even take it. I left it. I forgot it.
Sorry, we had a hot mic there.
So I guess my other question to that would be, because you guys are talking about offering insurance and equipment, like tires and stuff. Are you guys offering somebody for me to come in like a leasing program, or maybe not like a leasing program yourself, but like we
have a guy, Joseph, that we do have DOT compliance. They can walk you through getting your folders together, but we also have a lease program through Joseph. I don't know if he's on here. I'm sure he is. I don't see him, but I'm sure he's down there somewhere. He can give you a good fair rate on a truck and get you started. You got experience, and if you can get insurance, you can talk to Dan, get you a quote. I don't know what the lease program entails, but I'm sure Joseph would be glad to work with you. We should be taking members here in less than a week, so soon as we get signed up, you'll be able to take advantage of those benefits. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So you guys are going to be here on Tuesday, right? So I can kind of get with you guys then and get that more information. I'll follow you guys after the space is closed and everything.
Well, yeah, pay attention to the Facebook page, and Tuesday we'll have more. We'll know more on Tuesday, also. But pay attention to the Facebook page. A lot of what we're doing is coming out on there, you know. So, but if nothing happens by Tuesday, we'll know more.
Okay, I don't have the Facebook page. Can anybody post that as a post underneath the space here, like a reply to it, so I can?
Yeah,
Jamie,
actually,
Jamie.
Quinn, the guys are tweeting all the time. Just use hashtag Twitter Trucking, and they'll put it with that, and you can find all the information. I have to conclude the meeting, the official NOAA National Owner Operators Association member meeting, and I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I'm wishing everybody a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. And I just can't tell Mike and the team how much we appreciate you, and Godspeed, everybody, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.